So you're thinking about buying a house, but you're completely overwhelmed and intimidated because you don't know how much it actually costs you. You hear all these big terms like down payment, closing costs. You think about hidden fees there could be that no one's telling you about. So what is the scoop and how much does buying a house actually cost you? That is what we're going to be talking about today. So as always, before I get into things, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel, give us some thumbs up, and just give us some feedback on what you want to hear, because that's how we make videos and how we learn what you want to hear about. All right, let's get into it. How much does it actually cost you out of pocket to buy a house? Of course, with most things, there's no easy black and white answer. This answer will definitely vary depending on your loan type, the price of your home that you're buying, the size of the home that you're buying, things like that. So do keep that in mind as I go along with this. So I will start at our highest out-of-pocket expense and kind of work our way down to these smaller things that you may not be thinking about. But obviously your biggest out-of-pocket expense is the thing everyone knows about, and that is your down payment. And like mentioned before, that will vary depending on your loan type. There are loans that have a no down payment, which is your RD loan, your VA loan. And then you have other loan types that have a minimum down payment of 3.5% for your FHA loans. And then a conventional loan is a minimum of 3 to 5%, depending on stipulations like if you're a first-time home buyer or not. Obviously, you can voluntarily put more down, or your loan may require you to put more down to get your debt-to-income ratio down some. That's getting into a can of worms. But you can put 10% down, 20% down to avoid PMI. But either way, that is probably going to be your biggest, depending on your loan type, out-of-pocket expense to expect. Your next out-of-pocket expense could also be your biggest, depending on your loan type, but it's your closing costs. And that is a vague term that not many people know about going into buying a house. That's why it's good to sit down with a lender beforehand to know all of these things. But your closing costs have a breakdown of some title work, your loan origination fees. It also includes your prepaids, which is your property taxes and insurance if you have to pay them up front when you close, or if they're prorated throughout the year. But it's a breakdown. It usually comes to be about 3 to 3.5% of your sales price. So the fluctuations there are if it requires a little more insurance, if your property taxes are high, but oftentimes if you're shopping around for lenders, you can get a breakdown of what closing costs estimated could be based off of their loan origination fees and title work and stuff like that. But 3 to 3.5% of the sales price is what you can count on your closing costs to be. Your next fees are kind of getting into those smaller things you may not be thinking about. But your appraisal, and your appraisal may actually be bundled into your closing cost estimate that a lender gives you. Oftentimes it is not, so make sure you check with your lender on that. But an appraisal is required if you are getting a loan. Your lender is automatically going to be needing that, and that's around $500 or so. That will be taken out and be due before closing because it's a third party that's doing it, and they have to be paid for it. So check with your lender to see if that's going to be included in your closing costs, but otherwise you do have to pay out of pocket for that before you close, and that's around $500. Last up is your home inspection, and although that is voluntary, it is absolutely encouraged. And yes, you can imagine the price of a home inspection will absolutely vary depending on the size of house, the age of house, if it's raised or if it's on a slab, if it has multiple AC units, if you need a wood destroying insect report. So you can see how there's a wide range there. For a first-time home buyer, if you're looking at a house that's around, 1,300 to 1,700 square feet or so, just on a slab, just kind of a normal house, you are looking at probably around $300 to $400 for a home inspection. Of course, you can see how that would go up if an inspector needs a crawl under, or if it has multiple AC units to inspect. So yeah, that is one of the smaller fees, but it is one of the most important fees because it helps determine if you are going to be moving forward with the house. So you can, for the first-time home buyers around that age and size of house, I would count in between $300 to $400. So I hope this made things a little more simple for you, a little more mentally manageable. Of course, you won't know firm numbers until you sit down with a lender and know your loan type and your options there, as well as work with a realtor to nail down your house and you know your price point and size and all that. So if you need any lender recommendations, the Sandusky Group has lots of them. We're happy to help you there. And of course, if you are looking to buy and you want to get a little more in depth with the process and to learn how that goes, reach out to us. We'd be honored to help out. So let us know in the comments any experiences you've had with buying, any expenses you think I may have missed. And of course, subscribe, give us some feedback, and we can't wait to see you next time.